Hello, everybody, and welcome in to another episode of It's Not Only Football, Friday Night Lights, and Beyond. Today, we are talking about Season 1, Episode 22. That's right, the big finale, State. Zach?
Matt needs a haircut. So does Street. There are a lot of car rides, and Panthers play for State. No spoilers.
Welcome in, everybody. Not only did Street and Saracen need a haircut, apparently Zach did as well, and he has finally done it. Haircut for Zach, you would never tell, as it's hiding under the hat. But true or false?
Take it off.
True or false, Zach, for any coverage of Season 2 and beyond of Friday Night Lights, you're going to have a different outfit.
Yeah, I'm going to mix it up. You know, the people have spoken, and they're tired of this look. They got a whole new one. Just wait, you guys. The people are gonna love it.
Yeah. So stay tuned. But we are not here to talk about Season 2 and beyond. We are here to talk about the end of Season 1. State was written by Jason Katims, who wrote a ton of episodes. He wrote Eyes Wide Open, Little Girl, I Want to Marry You, Changes, State, and he did this one with Patrick Massett and John Zinman, who also did Get Her Done and Black Eyes and Broken Hearts. And it was directed by Jeffrey Reiner, who directed 8 out of 22 episodes in Season 1.
That's a lot.
Wow.
Did he do 20? I forget. Did he do the last episode before this?
Yes. Best Laid Plans, he did.
Okay, I think we cross-boarded them.
Yeah. That might have been the case. For everybody out there who doesn't know what cross-boarding is, it's you take 2 episodes and you schedule them at the same time to shoot at the same time, which does nothing but confuse actors. We already have a problem.
Or more.
Because we're stupid.
Sometimes it's even more than 2 episodes. When we did Good Girls, we had to cross-board 6 episodes during COVID.
I'll one-up you. I shot something where we cross-boarded 8 episodes. It was confusing, and there was time travel in it.
Well, I'm going to make you guys completely jealous. I shot a film once where we shot it chronologically. Every scene that was shot in actual order. We never shot a scene out of order, and it was awesome. It was called 10 Years, about a 10-year high school reunion. It was awesome. It was awesome. Anyway, Jeffrey Reiner directed Eyes Wide Open, Wind Sprints, Crossing the Line, Little Girl, I Want to Marry You, Black Eyes and Broken Hearts, Changes, Best Laid Plans, and State.
If I haven't said this out loud, I want to take this moment to say it. If I have said it out loud, I'm so sorry to our audience to hear me say it out loud again. I completely credit Jeffrey Reiner with like 80% of the show. Pete Berg set the tone, Dave Boyd set the look, but Reiner came in and was like, cool, that's what you guys did in the pilot. I can keep that going. And like you said, he did 8 out of 22 of the first of the episodes in the first season. I mean, and then every director, his job was saying, this is how the show works. This is how it looks. This is the tone. And so I think he is 100% the unsung hero in football terms, the 12th man.
Yeah.
But I think he deserves so much credit for what Friday Night Lights was. And I don't think he gets it enough.
Yeah, no, he completely
being the
does.
tone, like holding the tone of a show is hard. And I feel like it's such a gift when you have somebody that you can trust to like keep you on track, to like, and it makes a big difference. It's like one of those subtle sort of ephemeral things, I think, that you don't really even notice until it's wrong. And then you're like, something is not really, fitting here. So it's like such a gift to be able to have somebody who's that dedicated.
And also he was able to navigate the speed in which we moved.
Mm-hmm.
He was the one that really did see the vision all the way through to the end of the season. So big shouts to Jeffrey Reiner. He is one of my favorite people in the world.
100%.
Man is awesome. This episode, if it was not only football, man, was a lot of things, but 2 things in particular for me. Thing one is the sorrow that comes immediately after like a job well done or a big victory.
Mm-hmm.
I think like this particular episode does a great job of, capturing the feeling that you have maybe in your senior year of high school, if you loved high school. I know a lot of people didn't. Or winning a championship with a team and you know that that team will never be the same again.
Yeah.
And a victory is also an ending. It was also Jason Street does not beatbox, and I will tell that story later.
Oh, boy.
Zach, what was it if it was not only football for you?
I don't know, man.
Oh, my God.
I mean,
I told you, I was like, I mean, we'll get into it, or maybe it's now.
He's upset. Zach's going through something.
I felt such a letdown on this episode. I was like, this is the season finale? Here's what I'll say. I loved all the Landry with the Collette family and then Grandma Saracen and then Lyla. Like, all that stuff felt earned and great. That was the stuff that this show is. It's the relationships. I got to tell you, this show's not only football, but it was too much football for me.
I think Zach's, it's not only football, is the show didn't stick the landing, and hopefully by the end of this podcast, we have changed your mind, May.
Well, first of all, I just want to say I love you guys. I think you're both so smart and funny and cool, and I'll never compliment you again, so take it with you.
May's it's not only football, is she loves us, and we're moving on. No, I'm kidding. Go ahead.
Well, it also is important to me to now counteract that with the fact that I think you guys should all know that Zach fell out of his chair and onto the ground before this podcast started, fully on the ground, shoe up. Like,
in my defense, this chair is on wheels. It moves. Okay.
So many.
No, most chairs. I'm looking around. I'm looking through this window. I see Adam, our producer, laughing at me. He's sitting on a couch. It's not going anywhere.
On wheels.
So many chairs have wheels, Zach. So many chairs have wheels.
Well,
I don't know how you've lived this long.
I don't know how much WD-40 is in this studio, but this chair is elusive.
All right. So
anyway, okay. So it's for me. First of all, I thought it was very astute, Scott, your way of describing kind of the sadness, but I also, something that really stood out to me was the concept of having to try to live fully and do your best and give your best, even when you don't have a guarantee of what the outcome is going to be. And I think like that sort of sitting in that uncertainty and still putting your heart out there and being vulnerable and doing your best, even though you don't know if you're going to be okay or safe or win or whatever it is. I think like there's a lot of that going on in this episode.
To piggyback on what May said, I think
not what I said.
This was a phenomenal season of television, and I think we'll do a recap, situation and kind of talk about like the overarching themes of the season at a different time. But this episode is the culmination of this specific team, everything they've fought through, everything they've stood by each other to accomplish, and all of the betrayals as well. Like they've got to deal with all of it. And I don't think without that feeling that May was just talking about, you're kind of sad that this is over. And as a viewer, I'm sad that this season of television is over, because I think it stands alone as one of the great seasons that I've ever seen of television. And I very rarely would say that about anything that I'm a part of, but watching and just understanding the genius of Jason and the rest of our writers, of Jeffrey on set and of Pete's vision, of David Boyd's vision, watching all of these incredible performances, I was sad because this season was over, and somehow they were able to capture that and bottle that and put it into this episode. It doesn't feel triumphant as much as it feels like
a letdown.
No.
And I'll let you know why.
A melancholy end to a phenomenal
I will tell you this,
and
I realize this.
Zach is worked up today, y'all, so strap in.
I'm pissed, man. I'm pissed. And I feel like I've had this with so many shows, and I just realized it and I forgot. The penultimate episode of a season, and a lot of times of a series, is usually so much better than the finale. Think of Game of Thrones. Everyone hated it. I didn't watch it.
I'm
not going to tell you what happened. But so many, it's like the last one is like, well, let's wrap it up. Let's give them the answers that they wanted. The second to last one is like, let's do all the stuff, blah, blah, blah. But if we just do all the stuff and then it ends, then everyone's going to be like, well, what happened? It's like, oh, well, let's tell them what happened.
All right. Starts out, hopefully we can pick Zach up here with a pep rally.
Yep. Woo. You know what my notes say? Lyla not into it. Guess who wasn't also?
Okay.
Me.
All right.
Just kidding.
The pep rally, do you remember that? It was like, we drove like 45 minutes, 50 minutes outside of Boston.
Was that in Homer? I think it was in Homer, Texas.
Yes, Homer, Texas.
Weird piece of trivia. We had our first photo shoot after we got picked up, and before we even started shooting the show, we went to Homer, Texas, and had some weird photo shoot. And then, full circle. Man, yeah. TV, circle of life.
There you go. Circle of life.
See? You're feeling better already.
A lot of that Main Street is empty. It's just... Mm-hmm. It's one of those towns that a lot of like the downtown area, like all the businesses shuttered. And so I remember being there and it feeling like such a ghost town. But yeah, we're out there on the street. We're doing our little pep rally thing. And yes, Lyla's not into it. She's finishing the mission, I think. Like, she's like, I'm going to complete the season.
Yeah, good
and then
for her. She's not
I'm
a
not going
quitter.
to quit. We've got
cool.
press interviewing everybody. All the players, again, are on microphone. Smash is talking smack about voodoo. I'm saying I feel like it's all come full circle. It's actually a line that I say. But when Lyla comes off stage, it just seems like she sees Tim, and then she sees Jason, and then she sees her dad. And it's just like every dude in her life is just not being a very stand-up person. And, she's over it. But he tries to apologize. She's like, no, I'm out of here. This is
done. She's turning in the PT Cruiser.
But like you said, I think the greatest moment of the pep rally is Tyra walking up to Landry and saying, hey, Tim gave me his 50-yard line tickets, and although it goes against everything in my being to go to this football game, I feel like I got good seats for once, so do you want to go with me?
Ugh, in my notes.
But isn't she also like, I feel like he needs me? I'm like, Tyra, no.
No, yeah, no. I mean, I'm with you on that, man.
Like, I didn't like that Riggins went up to her and was like, take my tickets. You need me? Like, I'm like, Big Rig.
Can we all agree real quick? I mean, the biggest mistake this is the first episode where the biggest mistake Tim makes is like, regifting his tickets, which you're like, well, that's an honest mistake. But Landry's look when Tyra says, will you drive? He's like, do you mean drive she walks away and he like looks 360 around the crowd. Like, did this just happen? Is this real life? Is this real life? It's priceless.
So
good. He very quickly starts planning this incredibly romantic one-on-one trip up to Dallas,
The aphrodisiac chocolates.
Are we going to talk about those chocolates? What's in there?
It's
what is
just
that?
chocolate.
What's going on?
He's a very Christian kid. He's got a band called Crucifixorious, and he read an article saying that chocolate is an aphrodisiac, and he's like, all right, this is the thing. I drove to this chocolate store out of town, and I got some of these really good chocolates.
Out of town.
Can we do a quick beyond?
Sure.
Aphrodisiacs. A thing or not a thing?
Great word.
I'll tell you this. I went to lunch yesterday with my wife, and I had some oysters, which are known
I was going to say oysters.
Yeah, I had some. She
I had
didn't.
oysters yesterday too. But was she into you for not, even though she didn't have oysters, was she into it, or was she kind of like, oy vey?
It's usually an oy vey vibe.
Sure.
But is aphrodisiacs a thing? Was Landry's best laid plans ill laid or smartly laid?
No, they were cringy.
I buy it.
Well, they were cringy.
They were cringy. Sure. They were cringy as all hell. He's like, we're going to listen to sexy Crucifixorious tunes. I've got these chocolates that are going to have her be into me. I'm like, I loved his speech at the end of the last episode, but this whole thing, a little bit cringy to me.
He's just excited.
Whatever, it works. Everybody's getting all tingly in that car. So joke's on you guys.
I mean, he's like got a car full of beautiful women. He's a lucky guy.
That's right.
Pep Rally had a couple of things cut from it.
Coach under review.
Yeah, Coach getting under review. Coach getting grilled by Mayor and the boosters during the day. The secret is already out at the beginning of this episode in the script. Mayor Rodell is saying, I'm hearing some rumors that you might not be with us too much longer. So the rumors have been percolating as far as, down in Dillon as far as the script goes. There's also a little aside scene with Riggins and Lyla where he comes up to her and he's like, I hear you and Streeter are on the outs. And it kind of rekindles a little bit of what they had. And it actually says in the script, Riggins gives her one of those charming smiles. Something makes her want to stay there, like forever, which is what makes her realize she has to get out of there right away. And she runs. Oh, ew, you didn't like that.
That's why I don't read stage directions.
That's why I don't read scripts. You know what I'm saying?
It's why
I just show up and figure it out.
Wow.
It's gotten me this far, which is nowhere.
Yeah, but so it's interesting. We've talked about it in the past couple episodes about storylines that get picked up, like the cash storyline, Saracen receiving cash in his locker, and then just don't get actually completed, or they don't make a big deal of it, or they just wish they wouldn't have put it in the episode in the first place. So that's, I think, what happens with the TMU thing. So it's so surprising, but it works much better when he gets ambushed at Dallas Cowboys Texas Stadium.
It's a jump scare.
Later.
It's a true jump scare.
In the meantime,
oh no,
he's looking for somebody
right out the chair.
He's looking for somebody who's not there, though, and that's where we see Tammy Taylor for the first time. And
in her car.
There we go.
in her car, yeah, she had to get a press release out. In the script, that press release is for Mayor Rodell's campaign, which another storyline we just never followed through on. And she pulls into Planned Parenthood. We get a scene with her and
love Planned
Mama
Parenthood.
Smash.
Planned
you know,
Parenthood
and
forever.
Mama Smash. And
The best.
in the script, she gives a ton of reasons why she has to get her pregnancy test done right then and there. In the show, it doesn't. She doesn't say too much about it, but it's like a whole paragraph long in the script. So,
What is it? Why does she? What's the problem?
What does she have to say?
Because she
We
doesn't.
played sex, and now I'm pregnant.
Let me find it. Okay, hold on.
Also, she's like,
She doesn't need to
I don't
explain
have
it.
time to go home. I'm like, just get one out at CVS and pee on it and wait 10 minutes. Science is amazing.
Yeah, see, another bone to pick
I
with
mean,
the
thank
writers
God
in this finale.
Planned Parenthood is there, though. Thank
She
God.
She says, today's the day we leave. I don't have a chance to go home, and I don't want to do it in a roadside bathroom. Now,
There it is.
I might have had some catfish tacos on Monday that didn't quite agree with me, and I
She
need to know
mentioned
right
that.
now what's rumbling around inside of me. Are those the tacos or not? So as I drove by this place, I saw your sign, and that was a sign to me that I needed to do this. Not next Tuesday, not next Wednesday, not any other day. I need to do this right now. And I can understand why. I mean, later in the episode, you come to find out they've been trying for so long and have been unsuccessful in many ways, and whatever that means, it just seems that at this time there's a hope and there's a fear in her that she just has to know. And
Thank God there was somewhere for her to go where she could be safe.
Yeah.
And
Thank God for
seen
Planned
and supported
Parenthood.
and loved. Thank
Yeah.
God for Planned Parenthood.
so she gets to go, and that was the under review there. And Coach is like on the phone with her. What is so important that you can't be here? And I think we can all agree this is way more important than
And
being.
she was
at a
like,
pep
it's not
rally.
only football, Coach.
It's not only football. I'm going to go unlinear, which I know Scott likes to be.
Go, baby.
Yeah,
So
no, let's
sorry.
do
I
it.
love it when
Let's
you
get
do
on
You said
that.
it later,
linear.
scene.
It's a free-for-all.
I have it in my notes somewhere, but I do have a memory of it. The scene where she finally comes out and tells Coach that she's pregnant is such an amazing. I love the scene, and I've experienced that moment in my life, and I've had to act that moment in a movie, and Kyle Chandler did it better than I've done in real life or in fake life. It was
Yeah, what was reactions?
well, mine were. I'll give you an intimate story. The first time my wife found out she was pregnant, she was on the toilet and peed on the stick and was like, "Boom, you're pregnant!" And then we were like kissing with like her pants around her ankles and like super pumped and excited. And that's the way I played it in the movie where I had to do it once. I'm like, "Yay!" Oh. But like, and maybe they're at a different point in life. It's a surprise. They have a teenage daughter. They're going through all this stuff. But like, it was just such a like beautiful. Through all the stuff he's going through, I'm about to play for state. I'm taking this job. I'm going to be vilified by this community that I'm representing and I love. Blah, 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 blah. And it's like, wait, what? Did I just get the best news ever? And it is that like that moment where you're kind of in shock, like good shock.
Yeah.
Like this can't be true. This is way too good a news to be true. And I never would have thought to play it that way. And maybe you guys would have.
In real life.
And I
or
think
fake life.
in real life, I would never. I'm pregnant. Wait, is this the best news ever?
Well, so
Let's take it back.
that particular scene is a lot different in the script.
Oh,
and
boy.
so leave it to
Here we go.
Kyle and Connie to pay off what it's so subtle when they talk about it. When Mama Smash says, are you ready? Or did you want this baby? And she's like, did I want it? I wanted it 13 years ago or 11 years ago or 9 years ago. And those never worked out. And am I ready now? I don't know. Connie carries that with such grace, and so does Kyle. And in this scene where she finally tells him, there's such a gentle fear and hope and all of these things that she somehow delivers in just these few words, and their scene back and forth is just so perfect. Look me in the eyes and tell me that we're going to have a baby. She's already told him 3 times, and she's like, honey, I'm telling you, and you look a little peaked. What is happening?
I love that.
And then it's just that laugh of Kyle's and that pure joy, and the two of them scared and excited and all of those things all together.
Mm-hmm.
In the script, he's like, I knew it would happen eventually. I just knew it. I've been hoping. I can't believe it's happening. Oh my gosh, why are you standing out here? Why did you drive up here? You got to get off your feet. I'm going to make you some tea. He like takes her shoes off and starts rubbing her feet right away. And I'm like, this is not good.
Ew.
This is not good at all.
I love him.
No, I never offered to take my wife's shoes off when she told me she was pregnant. I mean, her pants were around
maybe
her
you should
ankles.
have.
I rub my wife's feet all the time. Even though I want to keep talking about Coach and Tammy right now, we'll wrap it up after the game.
Do you ever fantasize about who you'd be if you lived somewhere different? Maybe you'd surf if you lived by the ocean, or if you lived above a coffee shop, maybe you'd finally write that novel. If you had a dishwasher, maybe you'd actually cook a proper dinner at home. Well, with over 1 million available units for rent on Apartments.com, the you abilities are endless. And with instant alerts, you will never miss out on seeing what could be your new perfect place. Visit Apartments.com, the place to find a place.
It's Not Only Football. Friday Night Lights and Beyond is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Now, most of you listening right now are probably multitasking. Yeah, like you're listening to us talk, but you're probably also driving or you're cleaning, exercising, maybe even grocery shopping. That's what I do. Throw the AirPods in, podcast, while I grocery shop. It's pretty awesome. But if you're not in some kind of moving vehicle, there's something else you can be doing right now. Getting an auto quote from Progressive Insurance. It's easy, and you can save money by doing it right from your phone. And drivers who save by switching to Progressive save nearly $700 on average, and auto customers qualify for an average of 7 discounts. Discounts for having multiple vehicles on your policy or being a homeowner and more. So, just like your favorite podcast, us, Progressive will be with you 24/7, 365 days a year, so you're protected no matter what. Multitask right now. Quote your car insurance at Progressive.com to join the over 29 million drivers who trust Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. National average 12-month savings of $698 by new customers surveyed who saved Progressive between June 2021 and May 2022. Potential savings will vary. Discounts not available in all states and situations. Let's get back on a track here. I guess let's jump into the Landry and Tyra storyline a little bit further, because that's, I think, where we left off. You know, there's the great scene where you're so frustrated with Landry.
Oh my God.
You have so
You're
much on
so
your plate.
emo in general.
You guys, my girlfriend's going to move to Austin. We were going to get married.
Oh, no.
Is this why you don't like the episode? Because Saracen
No,
is just
I
so
get-
emo in
No,
this
I
episode?
was fine with it. It's fine. There's, Saracen, he kind of hits these walls where he's like, it's too much. It's too much.
Yeah, he's a very sensitive little sweetie.
I can relate to
Sweetie
that.
boy.
I get to points in my life when it's too much.
To agree with
Clearly.
you from a point earlier, I do think that I like the car ride scenes and that journey of Landry to
Oh.
Dallas better than the game
It's
itself.
incredible.
100%.
Definitely.
I
It's
loved it. I
amazing.
loved every moment of it. I love the coincidental spotting of Lyla along the road, which you knew it was going to happen because and it's like cool. They're all going to Dallas, and I guess Lyla left before they left, and there's only one road from
Yeah, and her,
Dillon to
and
Dallas.
her new used car, because she
Yeah.
gives her daddy her car back, and
Yeah, and
she's
he
like,
says
I don't
that
want
guy-
this. I'm going to buy this 92 Honda or whatever it is from Crespo. And he's like, that guy's a rat dirtbag. She's like, I don't care. I liked him. I'm taking this car. She's just singing in the car when her car breaks down. In the meantime, though, Landry's shown up at the Collette house, and I love his first line as soon as Mindy opens the door. Hey, Mindy, how's the stripping going? Which, for those that are listening and not able to watch,
that in the
May
script?
almost just spit her salad all over her computer. So I'm very...
Wait, is that in the script?
Yeah, it is. That is scripted. That
dang
is
it.
not... You wish it was Plemons improving? No, that's in the script.
It's really good.
For some of the weird stuff that got cut or whatever, a lot of the golden lines in this episode are scripted, and that is one of them.
No, they usually are. I mean, none of us are that smart
Tatum's,
or
baby.
clever.
We love our writers. We support them in the strike, just so you know.
100%. He finds out very quickly that she doesn't have 50-yard line tickets anymore, she being Tyra, that Riggins pulled a fast one on her, gave his tickets to Bo and Jackie next door, and then she's like, 4 tickets in the nosebleeds, so my sister and my mom are coming with us. They
Well,
load up
what are you
1,000
gonna do?
tons of luggage in the car. He's driving along. Her mom's eating all his chocolates.
Oh, and she's like getting a funny feeling.
And she's like horny, yeah.
Angela's getting a little tingly all over.
I know, that was uncomfortable.
And then who does he see? But
Lyla Garrity.
No. Another one of our
Grandma
Grandma-
Saracen.
Who does he see? One of our all-time favorite people, Luann Stevens.
Who, by the way,
Lorraine
I'm glad it was like,
Saracen.
because originally when he came to your house, you were like, can you give her a ride? And he was like, she has to take the bus. And I was like, fuck you. Like, that was so disrespectful.
was
And then
gonna
I
do.
was like,
And she was going to
but
do
like,
it.
but like, no. She
No, of
deserves
course
the
not,
best
May. Of course
of
she
the
deserves
best.
the best.
She was going to go up there with her I'm Matt Saracen's grandma sweater that she wears at the game at the end. She's got a little.
want one of
she's got a
those.
little button up, and she's got a little sweater over it, and it says "I'm Matt Saracen's grandma." How cute
Wow.
is that? Anyway, they're in the car. Lady Marmalade's on.
Oh, yeah.
She's having the time of her life, talking about hot flashes, periods. I love to hear it.
Possibly my favorite moment of the entire episode. They're all singing in time to the music, and they're like, get you, yeah. And then she goes, yeah. And she's like offbeat, out of rhythm. And Grandma Saracen just raises the roof and says, yeah, out of nowhere. And I rewound it like 4 times. Anybody who doesn't remember it, go find it. The episode. It's so good.
And then I mean, maybe it's when they finally see Lyla, but like the chocolate ice cream around her mouth.
Oh yeah, she's got the chocolates
so
on her, and she very quickly. And this is what I love about the show is they've done such a good job in very little time of establishing so many relationships. And one of them that I love so much, and I think the fans
her
do
and
too,
Tyra.
is her and Tyra.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
It's so cute.
Is that Tyra Collette? Did you bring the booze? It's like
Iconic.
That's the first thing she says when she's headed towards the car, and it is iconic. That relationship is fantastic. And they see Lyla, and we got the big blowout scene. Lyla and Tyra.
Great scene.
Now
Great
she's
scene.
like, "Do not pull over." Landry turns around at Tyra and says, "It's the Christian thing to do." she can't argue with it. I mean, then the big blowout. How do we feel about the whole yelling scene?
Okay. All I have to say is, once again, Tyra's so cool. I think, like, I mean, yes, does she call her a cheating cheerleader bitch at the beginning of the scene? Of course.
Mhm.
But I love how she kind of, like, even if the delivery isn't perfect, I love how she lays it out in a way that's sort of like, this is the issue I have. It's like, this is what, it's not even like a moral thing. It's not a whatever. It's like, you slept with my boyfriend. And when, Lyla says, well, but you guys weren't on a break, Tyra is like, okay, here's an example. Like, I heard you and Jason aren't doing so great. Should I go and sleep with him? And it's like, it kind of makes her, I think, Lyla understand a little bit about how that made her feel. And then, of course, Lila's able to talk about her family and saying, my dad sleeping with your mom ruined my life too. They're getting a divorce, etc. I'm hurt as well. And I think, like, there's something about that. One of my favorite moments in this whole episode is when, Lyla says, well, I'm sorry, I blah, 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 blah. Okay. And, Tyra says, apology not accepted. And she's like, oh, fine, then whatever. And Tyra's like, no, apology not accepted because you didn't mean it. And I thought that was like really, like, just once again, really mature. And it kind of, like, I think makes Lyla see kind of actually, like, understand. They actually get somewhere as opposed to just being empty apologies and whatnot. They actually are able to like start to repair their relationship, which I think is really cool.
And I love it. I love what you're saying too. And if you give me a real apology that you mean, I will forgive you.
Yes.
But until you give that to me, I'm not going to. And it's such a, I don't know. It's a big thing I've learned in my adult years is real apologies mean a lot. Just saying I'm sorry doesn't mean shit. And I tell my kids that all the time in those exact words.
Tyra doesn't apologize for anything. Tyra is unapologetic. I don't know that she's never done anything that she doesn't have to apologize for. But here, like, I would have been – I'm the type of person that, like, when I get an apology, for some reason I feel like I immediately have to be – I'm sorry too. I'm like, you know what I mean? But, like, she does call Lyla a lot of names, and she has throughout the season been on Lila's ass, not always for warranted reasons.
Yeah.
I don't know. So, anyway.
But I think the bigger issue is, so for this, like, what fake 17-year-old to be like, I just want you to hear why it felt bad. And I want you to understand to me why it felt bad, what you did. And, like, I'm willing to move past this if you can just let me know that, like, validate my feelings.
Yeah. And that's one thing I really love about this scene is that for almost the entire season, Lyla has been asking Tyra, what is your problem with me? And Tyra has never really told her, like, what's at the crux of it all. And they've never had that conversation because Tyra's always been, you know, she's got a thick skin and she doesn't let a lot of people in. In order for her to tell Lyla what really has been bugging her, she has to let her in a little bit. And she does. And they apologize. And a friendship is born anew.
Yes.
Mirroring this drive up, where now Landry has picked up 5 women. He's just chauffeuring girls' weekend at this point. The team is driving up to Dallas. I have been on these team buses, and, you know, that bus drive is something I miss so much. You are spending time with no other worries. You're not practicing. You're just sitting there with your teammates that you've gone through so much with. And I don't know, it's one of those moments where the pressure is kind of off, and it's that kind of quiet, that calm before the storm. And there's something that I miss so much about that. Anyway, they arrive at Dallas Cowboys Stadium. Now that is actually the stadium.
This is really cool.
Yeah, that the Dallas Cowboys played at. Dallas Cowboys Texas Stadium in Irving, Texas. The Cowboys played there for 38 seasons.
Damn.
The season after we shot State.
Was this the last season?
The season after we shot State was their final season in that stadium before they moved to Arlington. And so we were kind of one of the last things to happen in that stadium.
Oh, dude, it was so cool. It was like, I mean, I'm not from Texas. Spoiler alert.
Thank you.
But being a football fan, an NFL fan, and then being in Texas for a year, I really got to understand, like, this is holy ground. And to be able to walk out, to be able to go into that locker room and then walk out onto that field and stand on that star, it's just something not a lot of people get to do. And it was awesome. It was so cool. And I'm talking about just standing in the middle of a field without a crowd there. It was like, this is amazing.
When we walked into the locker room, you see Zach as Saracen standing in front of a locker with his name on it. You see the look on his face, and it's not acting. That was the feeling that we all had. Same with Gaius. You see Smash's face like light up, and he's like, it's like this thought of, I cannot believe I'm in this room, man. Like, this is Hall of Famers, like Super Bowl champions. Like, these are their lockers.
Yeah, this is literally where they were when they won. And so cool.
Awesome. And then one of the coolest things, and I don't know if you remember this, they did not let us walk down to the field or out onto the field until we shot us walking onto the field for the first time. So
smart.
And there is one actor who's been on the show all season long. His name's Kendrick, and he's one of the background actors. He's gotten a couple of speaking lines now and then, but his look says it all because he's born and raised Texan. Yeah. And for some of us, it was incredible, and we felt like the magnitude of it. But in his face, as he's walking down, he's to the left of Smash when you see us all walk into the field. His face is just total and complete awe. Like, this is the moment of a lifetime for some people, you know? So I can only imagine high schoolers who get to play on this holy ground in their terms, you know, it's pretty incredible. So to be able to shoot there, to be able to stand on the star, to be able to play in that stadium, play on the same turf as like NFL players and do all of this, it was pretty special to us.
And they did a really good job capturing that. I mean, that's so cool when, you know, I personally am like an actor who loves like capturing those moments. Like, I love being fed stuff that's like new or that makes me have a reaction, something I don't know is coming. That's the thing that, you know, especially at least in my experience, Jason Kim's shows do so well with is like, they understand the gold in those moments of like trusting the actors that they have and then giving them this new feeling, this new thing, and capturing the genuine moments there. And I feel like we did a lot of that on Parenthood. And I feel like it just makes a big difference when you see it, like watching that, you know, you can feel that is the first time you've ever seen it. And it makes a big difference. And plus then the theme song's playing and I get the tingles anytime that theme song is playing. I was tingling, you know,
and it's another
and
moment
it wasn't from the chocolates.
It's another moment where you see these kids just being kids. They're out there, they're throwing a ball around. They're like, just like on the field for the first time and just having the time of their life. And then here come the Stormtroopers in West Cambria, which you all will be glad to know. I have no idea who West Cambria is. I did a ton of research.
No.
I think West Cambria is
Look at the jerseys.
It's like when you meet your heroes and they
completely
fall
made
short.
up, completely made up team. But here
they
comes
have the
Voodoo,
slow tumble.
and then it gets a little bit more serious. Coach turns to all of his players and says, "Don't even look at them. Stay within yourselves. Okay, let's just mind our own business, basically." And then all of that joy and everything, you see the nerves start to come in a little bit. And then all the players are talking to the press again. Voodoo is calling you a bug, smaller than a bug, a flea.
Whatever.
He's going to get squashed by my defensive line. He's talking smack. You're being humble as can be. Smash, of course, is saying, he thinks it's destiny that he's going to win. No, we'll show him some destiny. Show him some destiny in a couple of days. Saracen's just being so kind and everything. But then Coach gets put on blast.
He's mad at Coach.
Coach gets put on blast.
Fuming.
And every single player hears it that he's leaving.
I mean, what are you going to do? When you fast forward to, that scene with Buddy, which is, I love that scene because
it's so good.
He's so right and so honest, and he makes every point, and it's he's doing absolutely nothing wrong. It's like, what, he's going to be a high school coach for the rest of his life?
Yeah.
Why?
No. I'm saying he does nothing wrong.
Oh, sorry.
He literally looks at Buddy at that dinner, at the night before banquet, and says, "Before you start in on me," because I'm sure as the audience member, I felt like Buddy was going to say something to him that was much different, and that this was a brilliant scene. You're completely right. Buddy's like, "Can I have a word for a minute?" And he's like, "Listen, before you start in, I thought this was a 5-year commitment, but after the second game of the year, I was hearing that I was about to be fired. So do not come at me with anything about me leaving to go take this job, because the commitment was not there on your side. It was on my side. And until you showed me that you weren't going to stand by me, I was ready to stick it out. And now?"
And then Buddy's like, "Look, I just want to come by, Coach, and tell you congratulations, Eric. You're a good man. You've been a good friend." Yeah. He's
That's a good Leland.
And Coach is like,
"Yeah,
it's not bad, right?"
It was good.
It's Brad's look on his face makes me actually believe that he was not coming to, it wasn't a Buddy Garrity moment where he's pivoting. It seemed so genuine.
Yeah.
He said, "No, Eric, I just wanted to come and tell you that I'm going to miss you. And you're a damn fine football coach. And that's all I wanted to say."
Whose was better? Whose Buddy was better?
I'm not competing with May's Buddy. She's infinitely better.
No, I just thought it was a great scene.
And then, but he gets up there and then he digs the knife in like Tammy did last episode, where he goes up and he says, "I want to introduce you to the man who brought us to state in his first year as coach, my friend, Eric Taylor." Oh, man.
Yeah, 2 episodes in a row, he gets podiumed.
No, he does get podiumed, but
Podiumed.
I think Kyle's speech here was impeccable. I think when he gets up, it's not rah-rah. It is completely honest. As he is wont to do, he throws every line just away. And the whole message behind it is so smart and so well delivered, and every bit of it was scripted.
Oh, wow.
This is one of the only times I've read a line for line. I was watching and I was went and checked it. And it is line for line, and he delivered every single word in that scene. And he did it so well, man. It's so good.
Gotta pay those writers.
I have dreams, and I hope that every one of you has dreams and that you will follow those dreams. I mean, it's such a great speech. And then he tacks on, "I've never liked the press. This should have been done different, and I'm sorry." And it's so plain and simple. And it's so Eric Taylor. I don't know. That was just for me, the scene is awesome.
I liked it too. I was into it.
Yeah, where's your beef coming? Where I keep waiting to hear about this theoretical, hypothetical beef, and yet it seems like you're down with the whole thing. Yeah, beef. You had beef with this episode.
Well, let's get to the end.
All right, let's get to the end.
It seems like he likes an awful lot of this. No, I'm just saying this right.
Yeah, truly.
All right, so then they go and they win state.
Wait a minute. You're just going to skip the whole thing? Jeez, Louise.
It's football. We've all seen it. There's plays.
Zach,
it's football.
Just because you didn't like the episode doesn't mean you can fast forward through everything.
Well,
Okay.
it kind of does.
It kind of does.
They're setting some things up for next season. Voodoo pitches Smash and maybe come and play with him at West Cambria. Smash is like, I'm a Panther, which I loved. And then Voodoo's like, it's just a uniform. Ask your coach. He's not sticking around. That was pretty good lines. And then the scene with you and Coach when you stayed out past curfew. The whole speech that he gives you about family, that is
I was with your
just,
daughter. I was like, dude, chill.
He's not mad. Earlier in the
Got
episode,
him.
when he first catches you like Romeo and Juliet style, kissing behind the bleachers, like whatever, at the pep rally, he actually says, "Hey, can you stop that? Can you please do that somewhere else, preferably nowhere? And can you please save some energy for the game?" We didn't have a stadium full of extras with us.
No.
We never played in front of a full stadium of extras. And one of the questions that I've seen, so a little bit of press box early in the comments is, at the football games, did we always play in front of full stadiums? No. What would happen is the background would get put into position where we were shooting where the cameras were aimed. And then they would get shuffled over to a different part of the stadium, and they would change clothes into like the other fans' colors or wardrobe, and then they'd shift them back over and put them back in the other clothes. And then I'm sure some of them are CGI, but that was not a full stadium. We didn't actually get to play in front of a full stadium. We got to play in front of like a quarter, like lower bowl quarter of the stadium was full of background, but still pretty damn cool. And it was loud in there. Cool. It was raucous. It was really, really neat. And I want to give a shout out to our second AD, Tony Griffin, who no matter what situation we were in was able to communicate to sometimes a couple thousand background actors exactly what we needed in a moment. He was high energy, and it was such a big part of what we were able to do, because whether it's in a high school hallway with a bunch of kids who are actual kids where he's trying to give them direction, or a stadium full of raucous fans, he was always able to get the best out of them.
I actually got to tell you, season 1, he was a PA.
Yeah, he wasn't.
He was like low man on the totem pole, and he worked his way up to a first AD, and now through that he is directing TV and blah blah blah. He's he's a close friend of mine to this day. But yeah, no, his energy. So cool. He was like such a special guy, and we had a lot of those in our crew who just, even though it wasn't even really his job.
Yeah,
he was like, I'm gonna get this going because I care about this show, and that's one of the many things that made the show special that you don't always have on a set.
A big reason that the show is successful outside of the people that we had working all the time was even the smallest character on the show could have the most profound lines, and they weren't afraid to give like really meaty, really cool stuff to unsung heroes of the show. We've talked about Lainey Albright before and Stan Zisk. They are the color commentary and play-by-play guy. Them and their performance during State is awesome. Right before halftime, Lainey Albright says, "This town, these players, the folks that came up here, they would follow this man, Eric Taylor, to the ends of the earth, and I am so afraid that is just where he has led them." And it is like this really doom and gloom, really super dramatic line, but man, that line gave me chills. It's like, this is all just too much for this team to overcome.
Right.
We've heaped a bunch of shit on this team all year long, and this is the thing that's breaking them. Coach leaving, them finding out the way that they found out, it has broken them. And it leads to one of the other things that makes this show work so well is the inspirational quotes from Coach Taylor. His halftime speech, I absolutely loved. And I cried during, and I don't know if it's because, it encapsulates the whole season. He mentions, when Jason Street got hurt, everyone wrote us off. Everyone. And yet here you are playing for a state championship right now. 40,000 people in the stadium have now written you off as well. But there are certain people out there who still believe in you. There are folks out there that will never give up on you. And when you go out on that field, that's who I want in your hearts. That's who I want in your minds. And then he gives his battle speech.
Yep. Yeah. This is for May's thing in my notes. Every man is going to lose a battle, but what makes him a man is that he does not lose himself.
In the midst.
Wait, no, I'm not done.
What?
Big rig look. Huh? Look on his face like, I don't understand what he just said.
Whatever you say, man. Let's go play ball.
That speech is so good. In the script, he actually spells out what clear eyes and what full hearts means.
Ugh.
And in the locker room that day, Kyle said,
I don't want to hear it.
I am not explaining what clear eyes or full hearts means.
Yeah.
We are doing
I took my
one
headphones out.
paragraph
I do
of
not want
this.
to even hear it. I don't want to have that
Yeah,
spoiled in
it's
my
legit.
head.
It means
script.
vising.
No.
It means
No, it doesn't. I
unclogged
won't.
arteries.
Cardiac arrest.
If anybody out there, if we do a recap episode or a scenes you missed episode, if you want me to read it and that, let us know in the comments section. I am not want to read it right now, but yeah, that speech at halftime, the whole every man will lose a battle, and what's important is that he does not lose himself in the midst of that battle. I think about that line an awful lot. I love that. I think I don't know if it's borrowed from anywhere. I think if Kadams wrote that, it's brilliant. And the way that Kyle delivered that speech, I think most people would expect a coach to be on fire and screaming at his team at the halftime of the state championship when they're losing. But that is just not who Coach Taylor is and what he does.
Yeah.
And it works, man.
It works.
Smash
then
goes off.
We go second half. Seems like a different game.
Yeah.
Oh, no. Shoulder thing. Smash gives 6 seconds left. Matt knows the play.
Yes.
And then this is my highlight of it. You've all heard me talk about Mitch. This is his moment to shine. 34 minutes and 50 seconds. My best childhood friend can be seen as we're panning off Coach or off me or someone with his mouth open, just saying, and then Coach trusts me. I go in. I call the play. It's a crazy play. But
guess what? Jason Street says on the sideline, Matt, you can run this play. Don't I?
You do
Hell
tell
yeah.
Max saying, it'll never work. Crowley saying,
Mac.
that's never gonna. And Jason Street's there
fuck
going,
them.
Matt, you can do this, man.
Yeah.
I got your
Jason's
back,
so
brother.
cool, man.
Because I'm creative. I listen to Bob Dylan.
You're about to say how we won the game, and I'm going to tell you the script. Oh, it's crazy. Go ahead. How do we win the game? Go ahead.
Screen pass, Riggins, shuffle pass.
It's not a screen. It's called a hook and a lateral.
Sorry, whatever.
It's a hook and a lateral. Right? You throw it to Riggins. Riggins gets hit. He pitches it to Smash. Smash breaks more tackles. Apparently, we don't have a wide receiver on the team.
No.
Every single pass you throw in the second half
Whatever
goes
happened to
a running
Davia?
back.
What was his name?
Dolia.
Dolia.
And Dolia has been kicked off the team. Yeah, Smash is out there with a dislocated shoulder. He doesn't give a shit. We're still just going to throw to the running backs. But yes, 18-yard hook and lateral, and we win the game. However, in the script,
under review.
Under review. In the script, the play works, and then Smash gets blown up at the 1-yard line. He gets hurt again. He goes out of bounds, and the game is over. But there's a flag on the field, and it cuts to Coach pointing at the flag. Okay, this is in the stage direction. The stadium is silent. It turns out to be holding on the defense.
Oh, thank goodness.
You guys get one more chance. You, in the huddle, make the call, okay? You call a running play for
we
Smash.
don't have any wide receivers.
I have any wide receivers. And in the script, I'm gonna turn to it because I just want to read this whole thing. It's on page 49. Hold on.
Because I just want to read this whole thing.
I just want to read.
I don't want to just read this real quick. I want to read this whole thing.
Like,
You guys, it's just the last 10 pages of the script.
Okay, here we
Buckle
go.
up.
guys.
Here we go. The Dillon fans look dead. Mustang fans freak. All goes slow motion. Cops hold back fans from taking the field. We pan around and see the Dillon fans stunned. Keep panning to the Dillon sideline. Shocked. Keep panning to Coach. Pointing. Something is laying on the field. A single yellow flag. Back to normal speed. The crowd waits to see what it means. There's a flag on the play. If that's on the Mustangs, Dillon would get one more shot. You cannot end a game on a defensive penalty. On the referee, he makes a sign for holding. Holding. Number 47, defense. The stadium erupts. Okay, I'm not going to read the whole thing.
No.
However, my favorite part that got cut, Saracen, this is it. This is what we want. We're going to spread. Pro right, 21 heat. Smash, bring us home. They're on the 2-yard line. Smash starts to leave the huddle. Riggins grabs him by his shoulder pads and says, "Follow me." Follow me.
Wait, after
And then
Smash
just
got
get
hurt,
behind the
and
big
he
rig.
touches his shoulder?
Yeah. He touches
I don't know
his
what
shoulder.
Coach is talking about with all that battle stuff, but
So the game ends
just follow the big rig.
Game ends in an unbelievable yet incredible way, but in the script, they wanted to take it even a step further. A flag on the play, 0 seconds on the clock, a running play in which Riggins blows up 3 defenders at once, leveling them and taking himself out in the process, and then Smash ends up in the end zone completely untouched. And that, in the script, is how the Panthers win the game.
Well, it's fun to write.
It's fun to write.
Yeah, if you're getting paid properly. Support writer.
After the game, you see a little scene with Lyla and Tyra, a beautiful scene with Coach and Tammy. And
oh my God, there's so
and you know what? That scene's good. I'm gonna say something now.
Yeah.
Because
and then I have comments.
Because that scene is good because I really like how she also in that scene talks about how, Coach is like, I'm not going back there. I'm going to be here for the baby. And Tammy's like, no. And he's like, well, yes, I am. And she's like, no, you're not. She's like, we're not going to be the reason that you give up your dream. We're not going to have all the resentment of you not getting to do your thing. And she's like, I have my dream here. Julie likes being here. You have your dream there. She's like, I don't know how we're going to make it work, but we will make it work. We have always succeeded, making space for each other's dreams. And I think that is so mature. It's so chic. It's so great to not be codependent. And it's another way in which she's just so mature. And it brings it full circle to my thing of not knowing how it's going to go or what the thing is, but trusting that you can handle it.
All right.
Yeah.
See, issues.
Thank you.
Unrealistic. I call BS. No one.
You just did it. You just went to Vancouver, leaving your
I hated
child.
it, and it was the hardest thing we've ever done.
It doesn't mean that it's not
If I didn't
possible,
have
though.
to do it, if I had the choice, I never ever would have done that.
You did have the choice. You could have passed on the job.
Well, I did have to provide for my family. I didn't have another option of
So
a
does
job.
he?
Yeah, and
He
so
has
does
a
she.
job.
So does she.
They all do.
She
But
has a
saying,
job that she loves, and he has a new job that is a dream that he has had his whole life. It wasn't
That's
until
right.
Saracen says quarterbacks coach in the middle of this episode that I realized he was going to be a quarterbacks coach at TMU. But see, you're all in your feelings on this.
I am all in my feelings. And also, you know what pissed me off the most? We're in Dallas. No, we're not. Those are the 2 most iconic buildings in Austin in the background. I'm like, you guys are so lazy. Just tilt the camera the other way.
Yeah, I was going to say that about that scene, but the scene where Coach walks out of the balcony and Tammy Taylor tells him that she's pregnant. In the background, there is a building called the Frost Bank Building. It looks like an owl. You cannot miss this thing. And there's a whole legend and a myth about it that the architect was from Rice University.
We don't have time for this.
From Rice University, and that he, as a little middle finger to the University of Texas, he made their biggest building look like an owl, which I think is
actually a great story.
Hilarious. I think it's a myth, but I think it's a very good myth. Yeah, no, we didn't go to Dallas for most of those scenes, but we did go to Dallas for the game, and they did a lot of really cool little things. I told Coach that he deserved it at the end of the game. That wasn't scripted. I wanted to say the same thing to him that I said in the pilot before I walk out on the field for the last time. You too, Coach, you deserve this. And I tell him, you deserve this. And they caught it and they kept it. And
it's a good bookend.
The care of the writers, the editors, not being crazy precious with what they wrote. Everybody was trying to make an incredible thing together. And when you watch a season finale like this, and this is kind of, for me, why actually doing this rewatch is a little bit difficult, is there's a lot of emotions that come up in me from being a part of this thing and knowing that it's finished and there's no going home again, right? They say you can never go home because something will have always changed. We didn't know if we'd ever get picked up again. There were a lot of tears when we wrapped this episode in Dallas. There were a lot of, we didn't know if we would be together again.
Yeah, I was wondering if you knew or not, when you found out you were coming back.
We had no idea, and we were pretty sure we weren't. We were on the edge of not getting picked up for the back 9 in season 1. Our ratings never got better, and there was a whole campaign by the fans to get us to come back for season 2. It was a long off season, and it was a long hiatus, and we weren't sure if we were ever going to come back. And especially on that day, a lot of us kind of thought this might be the end. This might be over. And that was the last thing we shot for the season, was going up to Dallas and doing that game.
Yeah.
And standing there on the field after, getting out of your wardrobe, it's much like a football player or anybody on a team, walking back onto the court in their street clothes after a big victory or a big loss and just going, things will never be the same again. And I don't know. It was tough to watch this season. I feel like this finale was incredible. And the fact that Street, they gave the last lines to Street in the locker room about today we're champions, tomorrow we're targets.
That was cool.
This is a 365-day-a-year pursuit. And he knows that coach is leaving, but coach standing there silently around the corner, listening with pride in his eyes and regret and with love for these kids. And he walks out, and Saracen leads the craziest soul clap I've ever seen in my life.
Oh, yeah.
That was really bad. That was bad.
The slow clap.
You did a bad job.
Sure, you did it.
I was being sarcastic.
But in that moment, seeing all that emotion in Kyle's face, I sobbed. I cried like a baby because this season was over, and I think this was a special season. I think it was a special season as a show. I think it was a special season for this team and these characters.
I think that's why I was so disappointed in the finale.
Yeah, why? Okay. What was your biggest disappointment with it?
I think because what I fell in love with rewatching this season was all the characters, all of like the interpersonal relationships, and it just felt like it was so much football. It just felt like football. It felt like so much football, with some exceptions: pregnancy, Lyla Tyra, Matt pouting, whatever. But it was just so football, and it was like I was a little bored.
I disagree wholeheartedly, and that's because in the parade, when they're playing Devil-Town again, there's no dialogue, but the way that they link all the characters together is like a tour down the journey that each of these characters have had, and how each of them have grown in their own ways, stumbled in their own ways, and yet they're all here still in this place in Dillon, where it seems near impossible for some of them to be able to get out and leave. And that's what I thought was so poetic. And I thought it was incredible, man. I think every character on this season had an incredible journey, but somehow
also the juxtaposition of that.
I don't know. I love it. Yeah.
Showing the juxtaposition of all the kids on the float having this like happy thing, and then showing a lot of the people in the crowd, yes, some of whom are happy and et cetera, but also a lot of people that they got over by these people, or that they're disappointed in who they are as people. In a way, they're the Zach Gilfords of the group that are kind of like, I'm disappointed in this finale, while other people are like on the float loving it, the Scott Porters. But I feel like I loved that juxtaposition.
With that scene in the locker room, with that parade, with all those things after the game, State is over, and so is season 1. Does anybody have an overtime?
No, we are overtime.
I don't care.
I think we're too overtime for overtime.
I don't think you are too overtime for this. I don't think you are. Here's the deal. A lot of things were changed in this script, but none larger, and I cannot believe that I forgot that this was in here. I'm going to leave you, and I'm going to leave the audience with a huge, piece of evidence that a particular storyline wasn't just brought up in season 2 as an answer to the network's demands or the writer's strike.
Uh-oh.
No.
Mm-hmm.
On page 56 of State, the finale of season 1 of Friday Night Lights, this takes place. And you can buckle up, because it's going to take just a second.
I'm strapping in.
Rest stop, night, desolate, some parking spaces, a small building with restrooms, and only a couple lights. Tyra pokes her head into the trunk, digging through her bag. Her and Lyla have taken a car trip back to Dillon. They're at a rest stop. She feels a presence in her peripheral vision. She turns, and we see Mike, the man from earlier in the season. Surprise, surprise. Get out of here, Tyra says. You're a feisty little bitch, aren't you, Mike says. And I ought to try again what I did last time, except for finish it this time. And then he smiles. Tyra shakes, stares at him. Maybe next time. He turns to walk away. Tyra feels herself moving, doesn't understand it. She's moving towards him. She's gaining speed. He turns to her. She has grabbed a tire iron. Without any thought, she smacks him with it. His body spasms in reaction. She hits him again. Mike hits the ground, lifeless. Tyra stands there for a moment, looking at him. She finally leans down, feels for a pulse. Nothing. Her eyes show just how bad this is. But it gets worse when she hears Lyla. Oh, my God. Tyra turns to see Lyla standing there. Get in the car. Tyra, what just happened? Nothing. You didn't see anything. Get in the car now. She picks up the tire iron, and the two of them leave. Lyla following. Moments later, the car screeches off into the night. And that was the end of season 1 of Friday Night Lights in the script.
And I remember reading it and saying, what the this is so bad. And then I remember watching the episode and saying, oh my God, to the producers, thank God you cut that storyline. It was so bad. That was the worst thing ever. And they said, yeah, no, it was terrible. And then we went back for season 2. And I was like, what the
so
is wrong with you? You can't help. What is your murder fascination? What is wrong with you? You can't help yourself. We can't improv out of murdering someone. We can't save you from yourself.
But you tried. You tried. God bless you.
And then you think you can just pretend like, oh, Landry murdered some guy and we'll just never talk about it. It never happened. No, Landry should get so much better help, and he just joins the football team. Like, this is for the next episode, but we gotta cut it.
So this is the end of season 1. That's what could have been. Things happen in season 2 that we will cover later. We didn't take any extra questions from the press box, but I did answer one of them earlier and how the background actors acted.
No, I love it. That's a great sentence.
If you have any scenes from season 1, anything that we missed, anything that you love that we didn't talk about, let us know, please, in the Apple Podcast rate and review section or the comment section over on YouTube. I think we will do at some point a recap episode about how we felt about season 1 as a whole, what we might have missed, and we definitely want to take some of your questions and hear some of your thoughts. So we will be reading. But that does wrap up season 1 of Friday Night Lights. Thank you so much for joining us on this journey. It was pretty incredible, very emotional for me. I don't know, Zach.
Yeah, I'm yes.
May, how you feeling?
I'm feeling full of salad and emotional at the same
time. Let us know, everybody out there. Do you still love this season of television as much as you did the first time you watched it? Thank you for watching along with us. Thank you for listening along with us. Thank you for joining us for season 1. We'll see you guys next week on another episode of It's Not Only Football, Friday Night Lights and Beyond. Until then, we say clear eyes.
A full heart.
Not lose.
Peace, y'all.
Bye. We love you.